sad party.
Not.
All right, we'll get started. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of Talking Elite Fitness. We got a full house here. Sean Woodland, Tommy Marquez, and Lauren Khalil, joined by a pair of affiliate owners. Want to bring you guys on and get your reaction to what's going on. We got John Woolley from Chagrin Falls CrossFit, also from Make Wads Great Again. Kind of buried the lead there. And who apparently, since we're right next to each other, we just cloned each other today. I don't know.
Two beautiful men.
Yeah, that's right. Like looking in a mirror. And then Tim Paulson, CrossFit Games athlete and owner of CrossFit Palace. So obviously everybody's aware of this right now. It's been put out on a lot of different outlets. Tim, we'll start with you. What did you think when you got the email announcing that affiliate fees were going to get raised?
I mean, a healthy dose of skepticism with, I mean, to be honest, like affiliate fees have always been pretty cheap. So even though a 50% increase is, I mean, pretty massive. Like if you would look at any other one of your, like if you bump my rent 50%, I'd be out of business in a couple weeks. But you know, because affiliate fees have always been by their nature kind of like relatively cheap and approachable, you know, it's the gross dollar value to the individual affiliate, the effect is not that much. You know, I think if $1,500 is going to break your bank, your affiliate's probably in a rough spot anyway. So I think like in the grand scheme of things, individual affiliates are not going to feel it that much, at least just from like a raw business standpoint. But I mean, I guess the dose of skepticism really comes in with like, what are you doing with 20 million bucks? You know, I think that's everybody's big question is like, if you're going to rake in another $20 million a year, you're talking about adding value back to us and things like that. And like, you know, there's just, it's kind of scant on specifics and really big on kind of grandiose ideas. And I think, you know, so there's some healthy skepticism there as far as what they're actually going to do with this money that's going to get more people in our doors or drive us more value, things like that.
John, what about you?
Yeah, no argument with that. I mean, we've been planning for this for months and months. My two partners, Jen and Tom, we started discussing this, gosh, it's at least a year ago. I feel like this is right out of Private Equity Playbook 101. I've just been anticipating the fee increase. They've shown all the steps prior to this that this was coming. Everything that big corporations do, they've done. They've cut expenses, they have layoffs, they hired, you know, C-suite executives that, you know, with, you know, kind of flashy resumes that also come from private equity. They've been cutting expenses at the games, they increase capacity at the games, you know, to drive revenue. They've started selling to affiliates for the first time. You've seen it with, you know, Two Brain Push Press, this new supplement company, Momentous or whatever they're called. And so really kind of the last step from that then is you raise fees. Generate more revenue. I mean, there's a, you know, so this is a real specific playbook they're running. It's not shocking. I'm with Tim. $1,500 doesn't make or break my gym by any stretch of the imagination. But it does make me wonder, you know, if they're following this private equity playbook so closely, what's next? And that's my fear is, you know, is what's next continuing to squeeze every penny out of this business you can at the expense of the affiliates, or is it a sale to someone else, or, you know, what does it look like? I don't know. It's, you know, it's kind of a wide open field right now.
I was to say, I think that echoes a lot of people's thoughts around the slippery slope that could happen around affiliates, right? Like that's why there's always been such hesitation to do anything with the affiliates traditionally. And that any slight creaking of the door could, you know, ultimately result in something far much worse later down the line.
Yep.
John, you said that you had been planning for this for weeks and months, and did you have inklings that it was coming? I'm just curious, Tim, you as well, what your thoughts on the way that CrossFit communicated this to affiliates?
Well, those are two different questions.
Yeah, we'll let you start with the first one.
Yeah. Well, from the planning standpoint, I mean, I'm in banking, so you know, I've been watching the economy very closely. It's no shock to anyone that we're in a, you know, a really troubled economic time everywhere, not just the U.S. So it's tough. So we've been basically just planning for this, you know, we're going to have increased expenses. You can't see inflation growing at the rate it's growing and interest rates going the direction they're going without that eventually being passed along to every business on the planet. CrossFit is not immune to a recession, whether we think we are or not, we're not. So from that aspect, we were planning for it.
Okay, and then the second part of the question, and then we'll let Tim chime in.
Refresh my memory. I'm old, Lauren. What was the second part of the question?
What are your thoughts on the way that this was communicated to affiliate owners?
Yeah. Same old. This is what they've always done. It's been my complaint with CrossFit forever that their communication skills are a little suspect. I mean, I can't blame them. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to pull the Band-Aid off of this thing so it's not bad. My issue upon, kind of the first reading of the email is it's still really vague. It's all the same talking points we've had for months now, which is we're going to invest in technology, invest in the games, we're going to grow to 30 million CrossFitters, but there's no how or why are we going to get there. Like, there's no real details in it. It's just kind of talking points. And for me, that's the big concern. Like, I know what the goals are to like this 30 million members. I have no idea how they plan to do that. None. And that's what I think they have to start clearing up. I'll pay well over $4,500 if they can clearly define that. Bluntly, I don't think they can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think communication, I mean, if you're going to drop a price increase, might as well drop it around the holidays when everybody's already feeling pinched. So, solid timing there, I think. That's always a good.
And you have
always a
another
good
baby
spot.
on the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's diapers, man. That's a lot of diapers.
That's a lot of diapers.
No, but I think a lot of it is like, I mean, it's like coaching. You got to give us the shit sandwich approach. If you're going to tell me something sucks, you got to tell me something's good too. Like, if you're going to go give somebody a cue, you can't just break their movement down until it buries them and they're sad. Like, you do it in a way that's that's tactful and that, allows them to still feel like, hey, like, I see this is going really well. Try to work on this as well, but like, keep it up. Like, again, it's just a very basic like way to cue an athlete, like that you would work on in your gym. And I mean, honestly, who doesn't communicate that way in business too? You can't you can't just deliver bad news without some, strategies ahead of time, or like, I don't know. I feel like there needs to be, like what John was saying, there needs to be some specifics in here. Like, hey, here are some actionable items, some things we're really going to focus on and try to drive in, just so that there's a little bit of accountability from our end, so that we can be like, okay, if you say you're going to work on these things, I can hold you accountable for these specific things, rather than being like, if you just give me this kind of broad brushstrokes vision of things, I can't really hold you accountable on that, because I don't have specifics or metrics to kind of go off of to say, hey, you're doing a good job or a bad job.
Does them announcing that there will be a town hall on Friday, tomorrow, and Monday, does that give you any sense of, oh, this is a way that they're going to communicate and fill in some of those answers or questions?
I mean, I think that's definitely a step in the right direction. Like, at least they're saying like, hey, we're going to give you a platform to air some grievances, to at least talk to us about this. Like, I think that's that definite positive. But at the end of the day, I don't want to have to. It is your job as the company to express your vision and express the roadmap. It's not my job to ask you questions about it until I get an answer that I think is fulfilling.
I've got the email right here, and the part that's on the screen right now, it reads, "This increase will allow us to continue to invest in you. Over the coming months, you'll hear a lot more from us about our commitment and plans to deliver additional value. In 2024, expect to see us focus on 3 key areas: growth, quality, and tools and support." And under growth, it reads, "In order to get new members through your front door, we are investing heavily in technology, personnel, and marketing to help inform brand perception, storytelling, campaigns, web/mobile enhancements. These improvements will help you build a strong, sustainable business." Talk about quality. It's giving you a $500 credit to get your L2, because now all affiliate owners need to have an L2. And then tools and support. There's some stuff in there about investing in CAP, expand the reach and impact of our field support, business coaching. So there's a lot of, I think, general ideas in here. But my question for John and Tim would be, what are the details in there that you would need to hear to make you say, oh, okay, this is actually a worthwhile endeavor?
Well, I want to know what's next.
Mm-hmm.
Bluntly, like what, Tim said it. Where are they taking this company, brand, whatever you want to, I hate calling it a brand, but technically it's what it is. Like, where are they taking it? What are they planning to do next? If they're going to do this storytelling, what does that actually look like? Everything in that email, they've told us before. They have continued to say it with no details as to how they actually plan to get there.
And then
And I think that's the frustrating part for all of us.
in some instances, they've done the opposite. They talk about storytelling, investing in storytelling and some of those other technology outputs, but we've seen them pull back at certain areas of the season. Now, some of that is situational with budgets and things changing, but like, it begs the question, and this is something that I posed once it came out to Sean and us internally. I was like, what is the current iteration of headquarters doing right now, currently, that qualifies them to demand this price increase? Are the games bigger and better? Have they invested there? Is there?
I just checked their job openings. They don't have any additional ones. They have a partnership opening, an EDU strategy, EDU ops, and affiliate ops. There's no more openings for marketing, media. Sure, they could subcontract, but their team is already so small. The promises they're making on here involve more bodies to create that work.
And they've cut. We know for a fact that they've cut back on media output and storytelling over the years. Is there, I almost feel like there's a roadmap, like you mentioned, that would be helpful of like, is there going to be an increased labor expense? Are you going to add this many jobs? Like, are you going to put together all of these things that will ultimately demand a price increase in that as well? And it's hard to say because that stuff hasn't been communicated, which is also, an issue that you brought up.
Yeah. I think for me, like, I can't tell you exactly what I want from CrossFit headquarters. Like I don't have a laundry list put together as far as like these are all the things I want. But like going back to like kind of like I'd address this kind of section by section. Like the growth thing that really kind of like stands out to me, like storytelling. Like all I've really wanted from CrossFit for a long time now is like tell the stories of normal people doing CrossFit all the time and blast it out to as many people as humanly possible. That is the only thing that will directly affect people coming into my doors. At the end of the day, we all know that CrossFit, the lifestyle, the training methodology, it's very powerful. Like there's no doubt about that in my mind, or I wouldn't be doing this for the last 11 years. But again, tell those stories, man. Like I've got 200, whatever, some odd members in my affiliate, and there's 75% of them have a crazy cool story about like something they overcame or something that CrossFit empowered them to do. And again, it's just like blast that shit to the world through the loudest microphone possible. That is like, if you were to ask me, like, what is the one thing I do want? Like, that would be the one thing. Because I think at the end of the day, every affiliate's going to be different. I'm very comfortable in a business setting. Like I'm comfortable training my coaches. I'm comfortable with my level of knowledge in the subject, ability to run a business, things like that. Like I don't necessarily need or want a lot of that stuff from you guys. Like all I want you to do is get out the good word so that more people think highly of CrossFit, and they think that it's for them. Like that's at the end of the day, that's all I want. So like if they're going to spend this money to do that, again, you can take more, you can take some more money if you want, but like, I think the rest of the stuff, again, like campaigns and storytelling, hopefully that's what that entails. But at the end of the day, who knows?
Yeah. Here's why people are skeptical.
Sorry, John. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to answer this question. Yeah. The way I understand it, everyone is bumping up, but for some, it's a gradual increase. Am I correct in that?
I don't know.
I heard that through the grapevine, but I don't have confirmation.
Okay. Anyway,
I don't know. All I know, like, it seems like the way the email was crafted, it might be individualized based on what your old fee was, because I know, like they said, your current fee is this, and I know for a fact that's just my current fee because of when we affiliated. So
okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the increase is across for everybody or what. I'm not sure what the details are of that.
Okay.
Or if.
There were plenty of people that were paying $500. Annie Sakamoto is paying $500. I talked to her about it. I just spoke with CJ Martin about it because he's been an affiliate forever. And
their year affiliate fee is $500.
Well, that they affiliated back in the day, and their price was locked. Yeah. So CJ was paying $500, to be a CrossFit affiliate, which it begs a couple of questions. I think, one, if we're talking, regardless of what the price increase is and, where things are from an economic standpoint, was the affiliation fee as it stood outdated with regards to like keeping up with the times in terms of its pricing structure? Like you saw in the email, there's no price increases for 11 years. Does that mean that it was behind the times anyways, that you were kind of due for that? And are we just talking about, are we just leaning into a bit of a survivorship bias with gyms that are doing well and this fee is negligible to them in the long run? What about the gyms that are just starting to get going, right? And every little dollar matters. You know, is this being this is where I think we need more information, right? Like, how does this affect the gym that is 6 months in, a couple of years in, you know, has gone through all these other changes, has had to reinvest in the business, and then is now not cash positive anymore? Like, where does that fall for all of these things? And is there provisions in place for HQ to work with them? Because that immediately begs the question for me as well.
Well, for example, I know that Tim and John both said the increase for a successful business isn't that big of a deal. But say that I am planning to open an affiliate in a month. I already have my budget. That is now money in the budget that's coming out of equipment that I can provide my members. And where does that come into the conversation of what is the benefit from CrossFit HQ versus what is just the benefit that you can provide to your local community?
Yeah. I have, oh man, sorry. There were so many good things said there. I got lost in a couple of different ones. So I might backtrack a little bit, Lauren, because I think like I would love, like going back to like what Tommy was saying, and then we can reconvene. I would love some more clarity on what all like, are we all paying $4,500 a month now? Like, is that just the flat across the world affiliate fee?
I think,
or like,
and
what
PC jumped in here, and I've heard this as well, is that it depends kind of where you're located. If you're in a more economically depressed area of the world, that maybe you're going to see a decrease, or it won't be, it's not going to be uniform across every continent or every region. But I think in North America, 4,500 is going to be the going rate.
probably flat across.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Sorry, Lauren, go ahead. Revamp my mind again.
No, I'm just curious if you're somebody who has already, if you are looking to open an affiliate right now and you've done all of the back work, you have your budgets, your investors, or you've taken out a loan, and now you're looking at that increase in price and you have to make the decision, do I affiliate with CrossFit or am I able to provide 10 Echo bikes? How do you balance what you can provide to your members?
I hope not 10.
And what is,
Jeez.
or however, yeah, that's expensive.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, for people who might be looking to open an affiliate in the next couple of months and are working towards that, I mean, this could be the deciding factor whether they become an affiliate right now or not.
Well, it's probably a good thing though, Lauren. Like, if your deciding factor is $1,500, you probably shouldn't own an affiliate. If I'm being honest, I know it sounds rude, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's why we have you guys on. Tell us the tea.
The barrier of entry in this thing is really, really low. So I'm not fired up about the $4,500, the extra $1,500 we're going to pay. I want to know the details of what I'm actually going to get out of it. The history has proven they're not going to deliver what they're saying they're going to deliver. I'll give you a tiny little example. In this email, they said we're going to invest in storytelling, right? I love that. As a storyteller, I'm all in. Give me some good media so I can get people into my gym. Here's why I don't believe it. They literally just with great fanfare pushed age group and adaptives off to their own competitions. Wheel Wide is literally happening as we speak, and the CrossFit Games Instagram page is not covering it at all. Explain that to me. It's free to cover. How hard is it to put together? I put together 5 memes about this event in about 20 minutes. I mean, like, come on. How can they not put together some posts from Wheel Wide? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I don't have a lot of confidence that we're going to get the details or they can actually deliver on what they're saying, unless they can, maybe in these town halls, give us more insight.
I think you need to give yourself some credit for your meme generation capabilities, though, as well. That's pretty quick. That's pretty solid turnaround. That's practice.
To be fair, I'd heard the
think,
rumors already, so I was kind of working them in my head.
And to answer this question from Graham, if a gym is not affiliated, I guess they can do the open. They just can't, like,
they can't perform them in their gym without a video.
Right. Okay.
Based on the rule book from last year.
Yeah.
Has been.
Yep. So John touched on something when you mentioned that if $1,500 is going to make a difference, you probably shouldn't own an affiliate. While I would tend to agree with that, I think there is still a little bit of perception that's catching up to that, because that wasn't the case 10 years ago. I mean, we're in a different era of an affiliate generation where you had people bootstrapped to the nines and running classes in parks with very little equipment because there just wasn't as big of a developed ecosystem in CrossFit. And those stories permeate affiliate gatherings and things like that all the time. So that, I think that also creates a culture around, hey, like I can scratch and claw and tooth and nail and get this thing going, and the magic will take care of the rest. And that may not be the case anymore, just because there are options. When we were looking to open my my gym in my hometown in 2010, there was not another CrossFit gym within 20 miles of us, you know? And, you know, within a couple of years, there were 3 in my hometown. There were a couple more in the outskirts, just down the road. And it's just a different time now. So while I would agree, I do think there has to be some like reframing of what the affiliate model is good for. People will certainly be able to bootstrap, and there will be people that will make it by the skin of their teeth and in the long run figure it out. But I don't know if all of that is communicated as effectively as it can to give people a healthy expectation about what they're getting into.
Well, you're completely right, Tommy. Like, I miss those old days when you could hear about people opening affiliates in their garage, and they could do that. But the reputation and the brand of CrossFit is so different now. I can't see us being viewed as an upstart anymore, and that being part of the model. And bluntly, I think this affiliate fee increase is just the first.
Mm-hmm.
Like the affiliate fee is not going to be $4,500. It's going to be $10,000 at some point. This is what you do when you do the private equity. When they do this, here's the way they do it. They go, all right, we're going to raise it to 4,500 and see how many people leave. Did we have net gain in dollars? Which they will. They'll have quite a bit of net gain in dollars. Then they'll raise it again and see how many people leave. And you keep doing that until you get to a point where you figured out what that increase can be and how often you can do it. So you'll see more. Whether it's 12 months from now, 24 months from now, 48 months from now, I don't know. But this will not be the last fee increase.
But it seems like and I'm not saying this is what I think, but the intent here seems to be with requiring affiliate owners to have an L2, raising the barrier of entry a little bit, that you're raising the floor of what I guess the bottom gyms are going to be. Like, you're bringing everybody up to a certain level. And is that necessarily a bad thing right now?
I mean, I think everyone's largest complaint, and I'll speak to kind of personally what my members have brought back to me, is like, I have a very high opinion of our establishment through obviously my own thought that it's very good, and also like what our coaches tell us, what our members tell us. It's like, it's not an ego driven opinion about like, oh, our gym is great. Like, our members tell us that, and because they go elsewhere and they come back and they say, yo, do you know what's happening down there? And it's like, again, like, that's a problem for the greater CrossFit ecosystem. So I think, like, at the end of the day, something needs to be done about this kind of laissez-faire type approach to bad gyms being around. And this might be kind of the soft way, I guess a softer way to do that, just in the sense that, you're doing something to try and elevate that a little bit. So there is a little bit higher financial barrier to entry. You do have to take an additional course with CrossFit. I think, this comment's like spot on. I'm trying to think. I am 99% sure off the top of my head that every member of our staff has their level 2. Not just myself. I have my level 3, and every member of our staff has their level 2. Because again, I think the level 2 is a fantastic course, and it actually provides, in my opinion, far more value than a level 1, because it's actually a critique of your, it's a critique of your coaching ability. It's a very hands-on, bones-honest assessment about how you actually can run progressions, how you manage a group, how you can cue people in real time. So I think that is definitely a step in the right direction. I'll say that probably should have been changed a while ago. But I think, again, going much past the owner requiring a level 2 is, you're not going to be able to go much past that. But like I said, we encourage all of our coaches to get their level 2 the second they've got enough floor hours that we think it's valuable for them.
This is a quality control measure. That's all it is. They had already put this step in place when they changed the affiliate map. They didn't really talk about it, but they rate you or rank you on the affiliate map based on the number of licenses you have, or L1, L2, L3, whatever. So you're going to get priority if you have more, higher education in your gym. They do this because the beauty of Greg's model was he gave us all autonomy to run these things however we wanted. The negative to that is there's a lot of nasty gyms out there that don't invest in education. They don't invest in cleaning. They don't invest in new equipment. This is CrossFit's only measure they can take to force quality control. raise prices, make people do more licensing, and then rate the affiliate map to give them higher SEO when people are searching for them based on how many licenses they have, thus, incenting you to go do it, which the downside is this hurts all those smaller gyms Lauren was mentioning earlier that are just coming on board, because now they have to go in and get all the licenses right out of the gate. They got to spend more money right out of the gate. So it raises the level of people willing to come into the playing field from the very beginning, which bluntly is a win for them. It just makes it really hard on those that are just starting right now.
Mm-hmm.
I also have to I'm going to give a quick little, this is an aside, but I think one other area, they talk about investing in, kind of education, things like that. So one of my other coaches has their level 3 as well, and she took hers a little while ago, and she was going through basically her CEU process to because you have to take a certain number of CEUs to keep your certification. And there is just not enough CEU out there and widely available that's actually accessible and not absurdly expensive to actually keep your level 3 active without strenuous efforts. And again, I haven't gone through this myself, so I'm going through kind of grapevine, discussion here, but just that, yeah, there needs to be more educational opportunities to make keeping your CEUs actually valid, continuing education that actually matters and provides value, and that isn't just checking the box, or that doesn't cost $5,000 and require you to go do a in person for the weekend in order to get whatever 20 hours of CEUs. That's just frankly, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but that's an interesting point, right? Because it speaks to the greater system as a whole and how they've been able to tend the yard, even at the fringes where there's probably a lot less people trying to keep up with the level 3s, and there are people trying to sign up for level 1s and level 2s. But still, if you have to be able to tend the yard at some point.
It seems like the big issue here, and the companies raise prices all the time. It happens everywhere. But I think for the most part, a lot of the places that do that have a track record of saying, hey, if you pay X, you're going to get Y. And it seems like this is a price increase without the track record of being able to say, hey, every time we've done something like this, we've been able to provide X, Y, and Z. It doesn't seem like there are concrete examples that CrossFit can point to right now, and they may be coming, where they can say, you should trust us to do this the right way. Or that something of value is coming.
And again, I'll go back to we've increased our prices at our affiliate twice in 11 years, I think. And one of the times was when we moved into a new space, overhead went up dramatically, and that was a very hey guys, we're moving into a kind of world-class style facility here. It's going to cost a lot more, and here we go. And the other one, again, we were able to provide some direct feedback, hey, a lot of this is going to some brand new equipment. We need some equipment upgrades. We need X, Y, and Z. So it was if you can at least and at the end of the day, as a business owner, you're not required to lay the bones bare about why you're doing everything. That's not, you don't have to do that, but you have to communicate enough to make sure that you don't lose the goodwill of your community. And I think that's where kind of CrossFit is right now, is we need enough actionable information so that you can build a little bit of goodwill among everybody and not feel like we're just kind of kicking the can down the road a little bit further, as far as well, we're going to do this. We said we were going to do it 12 months ago and we really meant it, but this time we really, really mean it. And I think that's kind of I think that's kind of what it feels like with some of this stuff.
Yeah. Well, once any sort of trust or confidence is lost at any sort, you almost have to go above and beyond to regain that back. And if you look at the last, 5-6 years, it hasn't been exactly great for instilling trust in people.
This is an interesting question from Julie. Do you think the CrossFit HQ has shot themselves in the foot by keeping the pricing for affiliate fees, level 1s, 2, et cetera, the same for so many years? This is the first time I have ever talked about this, any sort of affiliate increase. Even though it happened when we were working for them, wasn't much of a story. And I think now it is, because again, there has been a taking away of stuff, not an increase of things that they're offering. And maybe the fact that it's remained stagnant for so long and there hasn't been incremental increases is forcing this to land, I think, a little bit harder than it would have.
Absolutely. Unless there's when there's an expectation that the cost of something goes up 1% every year, and you just know that there's not that shock factor. But when there have been no increases, as I think Tim mentioned, it's around the holidays where people are already strapped for cash, and then you just lay it on through an email. It's probably a little abrasive for some people, I would imagine.
Here's where I
I
think
think, like,
part of the problem is with this, though. Think about it. If we factor out all those OG gyms, let's say there's 3,000 of them, right? That means at $3,000 a pop, you have $30 million in revenue annually coming in. And then you factor in the training, let's be conservative and say it's another 5 million, and whatever the hell they earn from the open. So you could easily say they're bringing in 40 million a year in revenue. Is that fair?
Yeah.
That'd be fair, right? How are they losing money? Explain that one to me. They have 20 employees at best. They have 20 employees. How are you losing $40 million? It's as plain as the nose on their face. They don't know how to manage the games. That's what this is about. They don't know how to effectively manage the expenses and the revenue coming in from the games. Otherwise, you don't lose $40 million with 20 employees. Or please just leave it, make it 21, hire me, and I'll show you how to do it. Because it's not hard to do.
Yeah, I mean that's been a cyclical thing for CrossFit though too, right? Like in 2014 with the whole Anthos deal, when ultimately Greg was given an opportunity to buy the entirety of the company. I mean, suddenly that was like, I think the first time we had like a broader C-suite of people that have been like, hey, we got to actually like curb spending and make some adjustments here and get the company on a better health track. Because one, we're now under, it was favorable, is what we were told, it was a favorable terms, but hey, we got loans to pay off now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got to like square this away. We got to make some adjustments. It was the first time I think I saw cutbacks in the company and people get laid off, and make that adjustment. But it's you know, it happened before, even when you could argue in 2014 the company was going gangbusters, when affiliation and training were at all-time highs, and you know, the more money was coming in than it had in any previous year. So
John, what do you think we'll kind of wrap this up here, but this is your world. I know I've tried to do a little research on the whole private equity game and how it operates, but what do you think, what would you expect to be next?
Well, first, I'm not in private equity.
I know you're not, but
I'm in retail banking.
Yeah.
I just work with a lot of people that are close to it. I just want to make sure no one knows. You know, I'm a capitalist at heart, but I'm not a bloodsucker. I mean, I've got to speculate like everybody else. I think they're setting it up for two things. You're either trying to return value to your shareholders. You're always going to do that, or you're setting it up for a sale. It's one or the other. And so I think they're going to have to find ways to continue to drive revenue. They're going to get past this games where you've got an increased footprint. You have more people that can come because the site's bigger, and you've got, lower expenses. I'm making a pretty strong assumption there, since you got rid of some of the divisions, and sounds like they got a pretty favorable deal on the location. So I think they'll get past, kind of this game cycle and see how much additional revenue they generated from the extra 25% at quarterfinals, not to mention how they're going to run the games. And then they'll launch something else, which I think is going to be some sort of online platform. Don straight up said that on a online summit a few weeks ago, that they, his words, they're talking about, which is what they always say. But we know they've been product testing some sort of online something. If I had to guess, it's going to be some sort of subscription service. I mean, he straight up said they're trying to reach those CrossFitters that don't go to affiliates. What that looks like, I don't know. But, financially, it makes a lot of sense to have some sort of technology, some sort of app, online program that they can sell, a membership, not that different maybe than Proven, Hard Work Pays Off, Mayhem, whoever. Yeah. And, offer to people that work out in their garages. And that's how you get to 30 million CrossFitters, because they keep repeating that number. And Don's actually a really smart dude, or at least a few times I've talked to him, I feel like he is. I don't think he'd keep repeating that number if he wasn't convinced they could get there. And the only way you can get there is online. It's the only way, in my opinion.
Tim, you want to take a stab at this question? You've been around for a while. I mean, I consider you pretty much OG here.
I mean, yeah, I think those are great takes from John, honestly. I think I think the online aspect of everything is like kind of coming full front and center. And I think, at the end of the day, also like you could look at right now, anybody's looking for a reason to bump their costs up. So I think it's inflation again, like everything is getting more expensive. So it kind of just, I think everybody thinks they can get away with making their thing more expensive too. And it's just a cycle of how long until things get too expensive that things get left by the wayside. But yeah, I mean, I would say that more cost increases are probably coming. And also probably, I think the online pitch is also very strong. I think there's just too much is going on with technology now. Technology is advancing too quickly that not to sound old, but brick and mortars are dying, and CrossFit gyms will not die. I'm not over here naysaying that CrossFit gyms are going anywhere. There's something very strong to be said about a sense of community in person and how powerful that is. But again, the world's also changing, and some people, for their own detriment, don't want that, and they want to isolate and sit in the garage. And if we can tap into that market, maybe that's where CrossFit sees us going.
Yeah, I'm curious about this counterculture question though, because a lot of that counterculture came from the fact that you even go back to the early days of the methodology with Greg getting kicked out of every gym in Santa Cruz, right? For actually like making his clients and people fit. And I think that permeated this belief that as CrossFit was rising and more gyms were coming up and they were getting like the kind of the side eye and the poo-pooing from all, the conventional gyms and conventional like wisdom of like strength and conditioning, that you almost had to have that, right? And you had to be resolute in that. Otherwise you would just get swallowed up and you would never be able to set roots in that. And I mean, I don't know, like what happens when the person that is counterculture suddenly becomes the culture?
Well, there's
I mean, I think so. Like, I mean, quick funny story. I mean, one of the main reasons that my buddy and I looked at possibly a space to work out in was because we started trying to hang rings from the balcony in the gym at our college campus, and they frowned upon that highly. We were doing all the normal dumb stuff. We were doing CrossFit in a school Globo gym, and they didn't like that very much. So like, I was part of that, and I think. I don't know. I guess I don't personally see CrossFit as a counterculture anymore. I think there's there was a time and a place for that, but it's just not like, and I guess the way that I personally just view CrossFit is like, I don't think you need to be some kind of rebel to do CrossFit. Like, I want my grandma to do CrossFit. I want my sister to do CrossFit. It's like, I want the people I love to be healthy and functional. And that's like, I would want that for as many human beings on planet Earth as possible. And I don't think there's anything counter about that. I think that what CrossFit was when it started may have been a little bit more like that. Again, just because it was so against the grain. Whereas like now, I think it's I'll go so far as to say it's pretty widely accepted that at least constantly varied functional movements can be good for you. I guess we can leave the intensity piece up to debate for some of the masses, but I think there's just wide acceptance that a training methodology like this is not dangerous when done effectively. Okay. So I don't think there's this kind of against the grain narrative as much anymore.
Wasn't this a Rise Against song? Isn't this like the lyrics, or basically the lyrics personified for that song Savior? Basically, like what happens if you were like the flag bearer like back in the day, and you get a little bit older, and suddenly like you're in the nice spot now, and you're not the one pushing upstream. But I don't know.
As long as people keep posting videos of themselves doing butterfly pull-ups, we're going to be considered counterculture. Yeah. Trust me. Like.
All right. Well, we will. We'll end.
That's fair, and leads are
We'll end it there. Appreciate the discussion, John, Tim. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for everybody for joining. Appreciate the comments, and we will see where this goes. I'll be very interested to hear what comes of these town hall meetings that they're having with affiliate owners. If there's any more specificity that's offered as far as like what's going to happen, but we will wait and see. So
also like if they have these town halls with affiliate owners, why not put them out? Like,
no, I was
open up the kimono. Let's see what's going on. I don't think I think transparency is going to be a premium at this point.
Agreed.
Did not need the vision of you in a kimono, Tommy. So
burned into the retinas. All right, everybody. Yes. Appreciate the time again. John, Tim, thanks for stopping by. I'm sure we'll be talking to you guys more about this. Thanks everybody for watching. For Lauren, Tommy, Tim, John, I'm Sean. Take care of each other. Be better, and we'll